don't know any of the words to this song.
Here I am. I'll sing them all.
Okay, sing. Yeah, sing them. What's funny is the people don't know how the music even got started. Sing it, sing it.
I wish I could sing like Leona Lewis. My gosh, I love her
You're
voice.
just like Leona Lewis. I
I
don't even know.
love her voice. Love, love, love her voice. It's ridiculous that I love her voice.
Redunculous.
Seriously, look, y'all. If you don't know who Leona Lewis is, number one, we're gonna have to pull your membership card for But First Coffee.
Fired.
Fired. She won the X Factor. I don't even remember how many years ago now. You probably know "Bleed in Love," which is like the big song of hers. Like, come on, come
Look,
on.
I changed it. They call this new font Holidays.
Oh, look at you being thematic. We ought to do marketing together.
I love that they just. Oh, you want holiday? Click here, and it's just
Click
cursive.
here.
What does
I
that
feel
mean?
I feel so much more festive. So thank you for doing that.
I do. Could you imagine? I mean, if there was just like snow in the background, like
Yeah. Yes. First of all, I don't know who LinkedIn user is. I'm going with Rachel, but "Bleed in Love" was my jam back in the day as well.
look at Dion. We fancy now.
We
Yes,
so
Dion.
fancy. We so fancy.
In my
Look
pleather.
Look at my extended mug.
That's very festive.
I love this mug. It is like, I just love this mug. It holds all the things.
Look.
Oh, now let me see your name spell, please. Let's go.
Actually,
Let's go in for
they
the
got
name.
it. I ordered it in advance. But then,
Gotcha.
Clay went to go pick up the hot chocolate. They're like picking up for Jackye. They're like, which one? There was more than one at that moment.
And that's when Clay should have said, "There's only one. Thank you so much."
That's right. Yes, I'm in New York. I've been having slumber parties with my oldest and boldest.
Let me just say, number one, I'm so glad you're there with Clay. Number two, I'm very pissed that I was not asked to come to the sleepover and play bunco. I'm mad about it.
We're going to be back next week. So if you could somehow come to New York, we'll be here the 22nd.
Oh,
some more
let
time.
me tell, my family is starting to arrive home. Olivia came home last night. Cassie comes back tomorrow. But I'll say to them, thanks for coming home. I'm going to New York with.
They'll understand.
They'll totally get that. Yes.
They'll be like, oh, yes, Auntie Jackye is more important. They should know.
They do understand. I mean, on the way out, they'll be taking the Capital One out of the wallet, but they'll be fine otherwise.
It's been lovely. It is love. Of course, it's lovely in New York this time of year.
I was just going to say that. I mean, I know some people have never been to New York City, and I know there's a lot of things to not love about New York City. I understand that, but the holidays in New York
there's so much more to love in New York City.
Oh my
Except
God.
for those roasted chestnuts. Those are disgusting. Who did that?
Well, where are you buying these roasted chestnuts from? Because I know some of those dudes on Fifth Avenue don't get their chestnuts.
I will not get the Fifth Avenue chestnuts
because there's a lot of dogs that are help control the pet population. I'd be careful of where those roasted chestnuts came from.
Please spay and neuter your pets. That's all I'm gonna say. And why do the pets have on more clothes than the people? Why? Like the woman's has fur from breasts up, from breasts down, nothing. Open skin with tights, boots, and then this dog has like 4 paws, can't walk.
Yeah, because the boots. Yeah, I love those videos of booties being put on cats and dogs, and they're like.
Yes, we're gonna be next week. We're gonna go. The family. That's our gift to the family. Speaking of holiday gifts, we're gonna go see the Rockettes next week.
Woohoo! Ooh, look at how festive the font is for the comments as well. That's a different font.
Very festive.
Dion, we are fancy now. Look at your font.
Can y'all believe though, really, that it's like the end of December?
It's crazy to me. Crazy to me.
I am not. I can't. I
Well,
can't.
have you just talking about, that's your gift to each other next week. Are you all gifted done with all that
We're
stuff?
doing well. We celebrate replacements now, and
Oh,
so we replace now because the things that we break or lose or get stolen at this point are so expensive. TJ has a screen like for like 2 years. We're like, why doesn't TJ ever respond to our text messages? It's because he doesn't have a screen on his phone.
oh, okay. 2 years. What's happening?
But he doesn't talk to us. Let's talk about it. We should bring that up in therapy. Like, why did we not know? Because he wouldn't talk to us if his screen was fixed. And now that we're going to be purchasing this fixed screen, he's going to be responsible.
Let me know how that goes. Why is he not? First of all, I haven't gotten any text from him either. What? Why are we
I
not
know.
hearing from him? I don't love
Well, I don't know. He's at home. He's at home right now. Sweet baby TJ is at home. He just got home and then
TJ.
I left because, you know,
Come on, dude. Why are you not texting? Uncle
I
Johnny is always happy to hear from you. Come
you
on.
have to.
I don't like this at all. This is
I'll
frustrating.
tell him. I'm like, John is waiting for your texts. But he'll be like, hi, Uncle
Hi,
John.
hi, Uncle Johnny Boo Boo. What do you want?
What do you want? Send the Amex. But I'm excited about that next year. That's our new we
Replacement.
decided like vacation, we would go on vacation for Christmas because there's a lot of stuff that we don't really need. And
Yes,
so then it's like we'll just do the
I
replace.
love
Yeah.
replacements. I think that's really, I've never heard that before. I
It was
think that is,
because like Clay had a computer that got stolen, right? And then we had to buy them a computer back. It was like way back when we were in Austin, and it was like we're gonna buy Christmas presents and a MacBook. Like,
I'm,
no, boo boo, that's your present.
that is your, this is so funny. So, Olivia is away at school in Boston. And had returned, as I said, last night. And we had to buy her a new computer like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, um, because not because it was stolen, or
Okay.
because that stinks, but because now, wait, y'all, there's going to be comments galore. My girl is in the class, is taking her notes and all on her little laptop, and someone comes in late to class, comes rushing in to the row in front of her, and of course, picture like lecture hall kind of,
Yeah.
waiting seating, massive backpack on her back, and just swoops in, knocks Olivia's coffee onto her computer, fries the whole keyboard, the whole thing. Doesn't notice that she does it at all because she's rushing to take her seat. Olivia's like, I didn't want to make her feel bad. She seemed really stressed. So I didn't say anything. And can we just get me a new computer? Girl, what? Find this.
Where's she
Find
at?
this. Where's she at? I'll call her. What you mean you
I
didn't
will
say
be at
anything
the
to
next lecture
her?
finding the child.
My executive producer is like, she just felt badly for her. We can get a new computer.
Those
Let's just
are
get the new computer.
definitely her genetics. That was not your genetics.
Not mine. You know me. I'd have grabbed that backpack
That's
and said,
right.
hey, listen, mama, what you just do to my computer?
Listen, isn't
Yeah,
that funny? We used to give the kids, they'd be like, I need $30 for the field trip. And I'm like, oh, here's your $30. And the next day they say, I need $30 for the field trip. Why? Well, Keisha in my class didn't have $30. So I gave them my $30.
I mean, right? I'm
Huh?
like, listen, y'all, we raised you to be charitable. Yes, absolutely. If
Talia
you
said Olivia forgot where she came from. You from
right,
Philly. You get your bank. Get your
Talia,
bag and get your
I am
computer.
100% with you. I was like, girl, what? What
Mm-mm.
you mean you didn't say anything? I said, well, you let her know at the next class. She's like, well, it already happened. I don't want to. I know it already happened. I would say to her, here's the laptop you just bought. It's pre-coffeeed for you. Here you go.
Pre-copied.
Give me your card or check. What, like, and my executive producer, it's all right. We can do it. We can do it. It's not until we can do it. I have that
That's not even
high
the point.
sense of justice. I'm one of somebody needs to pay. I got that going on.
Yes, that's what happened. Well, we're excited. We're gonna be spending Christmas with baby Clay and eating our tacos and playing games and doing what we do, and then seeing the Rockettes and going around and doing all
TJ's coming, yes?
Yes, sweet baby TJ's coming.
He hasn't boycotted the whole family yet, completely.
Not yet, but just wait.
Wait, it's coming.
We've been working on that for a long time.
I got this. One of the things that I think is really interesting about gifts, and I love that you brought it up, the idea of experience.
Yes.
I don't know that I don't know, at least in my world, I don't think people value experience as much as like there's a box under the tree that's got something in it for me. Do you know what I mean? Like I try to be like, no, there's no box here, but this is what we're doing. And that wouldn't fit in this box. And so this experience is like what we're going to do. I don't know. Does everybody feel like experience is where it's at now as opposed to stuff?
I'm just thinking that it's like the kids are older now, and it's like some of the stuff you get is just a burden. Like, and then they feel weird. It's like, what? You don't like the like oregano herb kit for the kid? They're like, I make no sauce. Mom, I make no sauce.
First of all, who are you lying to? I know about that oregano kit. I know what that is.
Air quotes. The hydroponic plant. Hey, I'm giving you a second career.
That's right. That's right.
You're in New York. Right. There's a market for everything. Everything. Yes. But the other thing was, it's like, I think what we all want is a gift is like less stress. Put the brochure in the box.
And
the Rockettes brochure, put it in there.
Put the brochure in the box.
That's right. That's where we going. I will tell you, it was funny because one of the things that was always really important, you always want to give people the things that they want and they like. And Todd wanted to go skiing, and we never went skiing. And so we decided to go skiing that year. And the thing that was really funny is that we got lessons, and
I remember that.
I was like, Todd, please don't make me feel stupid. Like the kids are really active. And I was like, I'm not really active. Will you please just, and people who know my executive producer, he was like, sure. So he stayed literally like with me the whole time, took the lesson step by step. The instructor thought, wow, he's paying attention. He's doing all the things. And then when we got to the top of the hill, there's my husband skiing backwards, filming me. And the instructor is like, you already know how to ski? And he was like, oh yeah. Go ahead, Jackye. He's filming me skiing backwards. He's skiing backwards with one hand, holding a camera in the other hand, and both poles in the other hand. Where are my kids? I don't know. They were like on Blues somewhere. This instructor is like,
what's happening? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, your executive producer should have been like, you're such a good teacher. Look at me. Look at me.
It was also when they were like worried about us getting like height sickness, altitude sickness. And we're like, we have to go to the bathroom, and he couldn't find us, and we were all eating like super deluxe pizzas we were like, we got hungry. we all ran. And our instructor was like, what, 17? The instructor was like 17 years old.
I mean, it is amazing to me because we used to talk about generational importance, which you know how I feel some sort of way about generations, right? But the idea of experience, millennials want experience. Remember that? Like this is, you have to deliver them experiences. And I do appreciate that, to a degree. I think that you're making memories. And in many ways, you look back on that, and especially like the year you and I have had,
oh my God,
some significant loss, that when you look back on memories, you are grateful that you did some things. I mean, I didn't grow up, and I want to give, and I think Rachel said it well in the chat too, like there's a lot of things that have to do with experience that might be connected to privilege. There are folks that just we're not in a financial position to be able to offer experience. And so I think that's well said and a great reminder. I didn't grow up with a ton of money that we did, experience-laden holidays every year. We were in the Alps. We were this. What Alps? The only mountain I climbed in South Philly was when they had a plow on 13th Street, and I stood on top of this snowbank.
The only Alps I had were the Andes Cream de Mints. Those were the Andes.
They're so good.
But I think it's always important to have experiences. I mean, the thing that was really important, you don't have to have a lot of money to have experiences. It was exposing our kids to as much as possible so that they could make better choices. It was like, not even better choices, but make the right choices for them based on what they knew. So we wanted to give them as much as possible. And a lot of that came out of like Todd's family were always born and raised in Texas. They stayed in Texas. And so that was their world.
Yes.
Like then you have to say, have you ever had a ginger ale? They're like, like in New York, there's ginger ale all the time. You can always get ginger ale. Other states, you don't get ginger ale. And they were like, why don't they have Dr. Pepper here? It's like, Dr. Pepper's from Texas. People are like, really? Really? Yeah. Like, enjoy the world and understand and experience, because we didn't call it like understanding like diversity or inclusion, but it really was diversity and inclusion, and seeing like you're not the only one. And it's also the version of being able to make choices. And the other part was so that we could do that together as a family, so you knew what that's supposed to feel like, so you don't get enthralled by the experience, that you trade that for the person, right?
Yes.
Like the person exposed you to art, so now I love the person. No, wait, you might just love the art. I know this person's giving you those experiences, but also knowing you can build those experiences for yourself, I think that's important. But also my kids were always like, I don't want anything. There's nothing in particular that I really want. It was always like,
yes,
not making, they didn't have those things. We had those things for them, and they were always appreciative. But I also think sometimes, like now, that's like just the gift of friendship and honesty and transparency,
Yes. And I think that, first of all, there are things that that my kids experienced with their parents that are pretty special and didn't require a lot of money, and it also didn't require a heavy lift. I think sometimes we shortchange the fact that, like going and I know it could be silly, like going and having dinner somewhere, on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, or the day after, or during the week when they're off from school, and just doing something at the library, or those kinds of things our kids remember and recall. But the other experiences, really, you don't even have to leave your house. Like, I'm very thoughtful about last night too. Like I said, Cass isn't back till tomorrow, so Frank and Olivia were baking together last night. Now, let me tell you something. The fact that they baked together and no one died, that's an experience that I'm grateful for, because I thought this morning there would be some chalk line on the kitchen floor because they were up late making, fake cosmic brownies, and but just to have like when your kids like each other, for me, that's already the gift. And I know that sounds sappy, but it's true, right?
The gift, the gift I like that I appreciated the most, it was like, we did the day before Thanksgiving, we were getting ready to set the table for Thanksgiving, and we all worked on a puzzle because we hadn't finished it yet.
Yes.
We're like, we have to finish this puzzle before we decorate. And we all worked on the puzzle, and it was so much fun. It was me and Clay on one side, also known as the laid back chill people on one side, and then the super intense crabby people on the other side, stealing our pieces.
I'll take that team. I'll be on the super intense crabby.
What Dion said, family Christmas pajamas is a holiday experience. Yes, we wear the same. We like to wear the holiday pajamas. We like to do like the matching, like we match, we put those together. And also just being able just to have that happiness together is a big deal.
Yes.
I can't wait to see, like, what, and I laugh because I told the kids, I was like, by the way, I'm pretty sure that the Rockettes that we see, it's going to be exactly to that Netflix special that we saw. Like, I don't think they haven't changed the routine since 1930.
No, they do a new thing every year.
They do at least one gig, but I'm like,
there's a new thing every year. I mean, at the end of the day, they're kicking. I understand that, but it's still a different routine.
It is.
I mean, it's so funny you said what you said about Texas, and I think it's important that from an experience standpoint, there's nothing wrong with Texas.
Right.
There, in general, I know that there are things wrong in Texas. There's things wrong in every state. I get it. I understand. But like, we didn't do family vacations growing up. We didn't. We didn't go anywhere. We stayed in Philadelphia. Maybe we drove to the Jersey Shore for like a day trip, but that was it, really. We didn't have all of these excursions and such. And I'm not mad. I'm not saying that because I'm mad. If any of my family's watching, don't at me or text me. I'm not mad at anybody. But I'm not, like, because my world, when we moved at one point to New Jersey, to have a home that wasn't attached to the home next to it was crazy. Like, I thought we moved into a mansion. I didn't understand at all. Like, this grass is not like mowed by the city that everybody in like everybody's getting this 12 by 12 block of grass. This, like, we have our own grass.
You made it.
The luster went away once I started to have to cut it. Then I was like, well, this is crazy. I don't like this job at all.
That's right.
But today, one of the things that I think is important is, like, when I share these stories with, like, my kids, or I laugh about them with other family members, or Kathy does the same thing about stories when she grew up. Like, our kids don't have that frame of reference. They don't know what it was like to grow up in a row home in South Philly, right? And so when I share, and they're like, wait, you had one bathroom? Yes, I had one bathroom. One. No.
That my grandma's house had one bathroom and 3 stories in one of the row houses. And I would tell people, like, my mom's house, my grandma's house is 3 stories. They were like, what? I'm like, it's not a mansion.
Yeah. Right.
Not a mansion.
Not a mansion. And people are like, well, how did you survive? Well, when that's what you don't really think.
You don't question.
No, right? And so I think those stories are gifts. Like, you're just passing that along. And so I'm telling stories to my kids that my grandparents told me about, what their parents did coming over from Italy and all this stuff. And it's like that kind of information, I think, is a gift to give people. And sometimes the holidays afford a more natural, like, opportunity to share that stuff when you're sitting around the dinner table, or like you said, like, everybody's in their holiday pajamas and you're drinking hot cocoa and you just start telling stories. Like, those things are really, I think, like, super valuable to do.
We started playing this game last year. It was like For the Culture, which is funny. It's literally about, like, Black families, where you give acronyms. Like, you try to explain what the mom would say. You're like, what's your mom's response when you wanted to, they're like, you wanted to go after school to go get restaurant, and your mom would say this, and then there's like, you have McDonald's money, and it's like, yes, that's it. It was so funny because it was like, Todd would be like, what? And my kids knew exactly every single one of them on there. They knew. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought it was just me. I didn't know it was like a whole thing. But we did that. We played it for the culture. But I also think that, for me, the greatest gift is just peace. Like, non-stress. And for a long time, I think my kids noticed how stressful it was, for me in particular. And, like, this Thanksgiving was the absolute best Thanksgiving that I've ever had. And it was because, like, the kids did all the cutting and all the stuff in advance. And so then we were able to watch the football game together, and we were able to watch the whole parade together. And it was like so nice. And so, like, and last year for Christmas, the kids made the tacos. So we started eating breakfast tacos, because I used to make Thanksgiving dinner on Christmas. I don't know if anybody else raised in that tradition.
Yes.
On Christmas, we had the same thing. Stuff. And so we started eating tacos, because I was like, I want to participate, because I wanted to play with all the toys and with the kids. I wanted to play, but I was in the kitchen the whole time. So a number of years ago, we started doing tacos. And so this year, TJ and Clay will make the tacos, and we'll sit in Clay's place and we'll walk up and down their street. Clay lives in a side of town where they have all the decorations are up in their neighborhood, and we'll go to the Italian bakery and get all the cookies. I think we have to do it the day before. I'm pretty sure they're closed on Christmas.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. And we'll get
in line early.
The cookie. Yeah, get in the line early. And I, like, for TJ, I was like, do you want to stay with Clay? Like, we usually get a hotel room, and it was like, is that okay if TJ, because I'm sure he doesn't want to stay by himself in a hotel room in New York, even though I'm sure there's a part of that.
He may.
But he stays by himself in his room.
I know. He is very good alone. He is very good alone. That's
a gift to him.
It is.
He needs peace too, right? Because he has, and so.
My executive producer enjoys being alone as well. It's a gift to her. I'm not doing her any favors when I'm like leeched all over her, and I'm like, "Why? What's the matter? You okay? Everything all right?" And she's like, "I'm good."
Like, if you could just take a step back. And the other thing that's nice, when we go on vacation, we have a family rule called "Don't state the obvious," because
I would lose every time.
You would lose every time.
I would lose.
You would lose every time.
You know that I would lose every time.
Let me tell you. I told John, I'm driving in this morning. He was like, "You're cutting it close." John, I haven't even left yet. It's tomorrow.
You have I got to say the things. It's right here and it winds up coming right out. And every time I'm like, "Stop it. Stop. Don't say it."
I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm leaving tomorrow." He's like, "You're going to be late." Wait.
You're going to be late. You're going to be late.
Let me
get your coffee an hour before the show. Yes, don't wait till 5 minutes before. Here I am. Right. Here I am.
That is. But I love that about you.
Do you think, because one of the things that I said we would talk about this morning as well, do you think, now I know experience obviously is different for family. Yeah. Do you think that there's a place at work for gift giving? And if so, should it be stuff, or is it weird to do an experience with people, like taking someone to dinner or for a drink after work? What do you think about that?
I used to think differently, but now I don't. I am one of those that I love stuff like that, but I didn't realize so many people are like, "I don't want to see you after hours." Like, it's not fun for me. And I don't want anybody to feel left out or feel like they have to do things like that. I think what we started doing is that you can have in-person experiences at work, or you can do it online as a team experience at work. But I also know that a lot of the team, they want to see how the executives live, not because they think you have like a fancy house or whatever, but just because you don't see each other as human. And so it's always nice when the boss invites you over to come. Oh, look, it's Teresa. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
But I love having people like come over and they can see, like, this is my office. This is where I live. This is my family. Yeah. To share that as a gift, it's almost a different experience. But I don't feel like, I get nervous about the cocktails, about feeling like you don't know people's situation.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't want to judge somebody because they drink too much or they don't drink at all,
And we still are doing, I know special organizations with distributed workforces, right? Like I still see it happening in companies where they're like, "Hey, we're still going to do like a Thursday happy hour virtually so that we have reason to connect with one another," and everybody, brings a drink and that kind of stuff. And you're right. Like, I still think we have to be thoughtful about that's not great for everybody. Everybody, right?
I think it's great to do a Spotify playlist of songs, and sometimes those can be funny, like songs that remind you of this was fall at.
Absolutely. By the way, Baldino's 50th birthday playlist, which was a few years ago, is the bomb. Follow that playlist. Oh my gosh, you have it. That playlist is so good.
It's everything. I think I'm just going to Renaissance. I think everyone, that should be the gift. The gift of Beyonce.
Everybody go search it on Spotify and follow it and listen to it. And you're going to be like, this explains so much about this guy. So much.
People don't know. Like, John and I actually bonded over the music. There were times when we and John were the only ones dancing. And we're like, where did everybody go?
Who was
that DJ?
Obsessed with that DJ.
Remember that guy? And he used to come.
I was obsessed with him. And I think he filed a restraining order because I was like, "I want you to come and DJ my birthday party." And he was like, "All right, dude, just relax, back up."
He was so good. We loved him.
So good.
John and I don't know. People don't know. We went to a fake party once where everybody was virtual. And the DJ was there. It was Jazzy Jeff. It was DJ Jazzy
Jeff virtually. But so you know who it was? It was what the heck? DJ Vitale, Anthony Vitale.
Yes.
Yes. And it was for, what company was that for? Darn it, I can see like their logo is black and silver and white. What is the name of that company?
It'll come to me. Good.
I have his last playlist. He sent as like a link, and it's saved in my bookmarks. It still works. I put it on sometimes and just listen to, and it's him like doing his deal. It's like 40 minutes long. It's awesome. We will, Teresa. I will have to find Jamie, if you're on and get on Spotify and find that playlist, share it if you don't mind in this chat. But you said something less about like people seeing your house and all. So last week, excuse me, we had our leadership strategic planning time in the FL, and so people flew in, and Jamie flew in from Tennessee, and Robin came over from Louisiana. And some people came down from Jersey, and Lorena drove over from another part of Florida. Anyway, we had folks here, and I cooked. So Thursday night they all came in that Thursday day, and Thursday night I cooked for everybody at my house, and I did like the homemade spaghetti sauce, meatballs, sausage, pork, all this kind of stuff, and I made baked ziti and pasta.
You can make your mom proud.
I mean, my mom was like, no, I didn't, because she's like, your stuff's not that good. But it's so funny. She'll eat a meatball and be like, okay. But the idea of having them all over to my home, with Kathy there, of course, and so like it was so great to share that experience with your team, and like for them to get insight into. I mean, my home is nothing to write home about. I love where I live. But I just mean, it's not like this palatial mansion and I'm going to show it off. This is how I live day to day. And I think there's something really valuable for people to have a frame of reference for like someone like your boss's existence. Like,
yes.
This is where I wake up and exist when I'm not sitting in my office. Like, this is the other place where I exist. And this is the table where we eat. And here's the kitchen where I cook, and here's where the dishwasher is, and I had people like wanting to jump in to help clean up and stuff, and I just like I love that sort of camaraderie that happens as a result of just simply opening your home, honestly, and I would just encourage that. And
Teresa said, "Where's my invite?"
Teresa, listen, my table was full. No,
I mean, let me tell you, John this year was like, Jackye, I'm letting you know. In October, I'm not having you over in December.
No, not doing it. We're going to do a post-holiday thing. Once everything dies down, then the Golden Girls are going to meet up somewhere for sure, because then everything's cheaper in January, because that's how I live.
We should let people take a vote on who the Golden Girls are, because there's a fight.
I honestly think I know next week we can't. I mean, I would love to do this next week and have the Golden Girls be on, like the four of us be on and do the voting.
I'm Rose, by the way.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. I mean, for sure. I got all the Dorothy inside of me. I got all the Dorothy inside of me.
Everyone wants to. It's Katie and John. Which one's Dorothy and which one is Sophia? That's the fight.
I think Katie. I was on a call with Katie this week. Pretty sure she solidified the Sophia position.
It fully is Sophia. She'll be like, "I'm Dorothy," and we're like, "No, baby, no, boo boo." She gets really mad about it.
She is. I mean, I have no idea if she's on. We were on this call with like 10 other people. I see her moving around. The freaking puppy is tearing out a rose bush out in the yard. And my girl is trying to like maintain composure with everything that she's trying to lead in this particular call, when I know she wants to be like every Italian curse word she can think of to be screaming at this dog who's ripping out the landscaping. Like,
that's what she gets for getting another dog. Stupid. But I will tell you, like, I think
who's Blanche? Oh my gosh, Robin, are we kidding? Who's Blanche?
Come on. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah.
At the holidays, if you remember, any of you watch Golden Girls, that episode where like Blanche like goes and picks up the mall Santa Claus and brings him home. She'd like to have like an afternoon tryst with him. And she's like running around the house saying, "Catch me, catch me, catch me." All I picture is Robin. That's all I picture is a robin running around.
And people don't believe it, but I think that's the other part where they're like, I think for me, people who haven't met my executive producer, they appreciate meeting him because they're like, number one, they're like, he must be really quiet and shy. When they meet him, they're like, no, and he tells all my stories, which he's like
everything.
Yeah,
he's like, has she shown you that mole yet? You know that mole she has on her right butt cheek? You know that it looks like it, right? It looks like Rhode Island. I'm like, first of all, I have not seen her butt cheek. Second of all, how does it look like
sharing this?
Well, how does it look like Rhode Island? That's just a little like God. What do you mean it looks like Rhode Island? How is that even a thing?
It's kind of like West Virginia. But
that's when we get in trouble because we're at a bar and I'm like, Jackye, Todd said, take your pants off real quick. Let me see this thing.
Back to gifts. I think this year is really hard. I think the year has been really hard, and it's been hard to put together. And it was hard enough when we weren't all being able to be together. And I think that there's so much stress at work right now. It's still unknown, it's still unknown.
I think a couple of things. One, it's so difficult. I still believe this. And I'd love to hear comments from our millions of fans, right? I think people are still operating in a deficit relationally.
Yes.
In a distributed workforce to feel that sense of community that would allow me to kind of know some things about people that I might normally have sort of picked up on being in physical proximity with somebody.
Yes.
That I know that Jackye loves X, Y, and Z. And so I'm out and about doing some shopping and I happen to see X, Y, or Z. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to grab this for Jackye and just, do this little thing. And I leave it on your desk. And I'm like, I just saw this and thought, those kinds of things aren't happening. And I think that's, I'm not mad at it, right? We're not saying that that's because everybody's being intentional to be, mean. It's because it's not as natural as it once was. That's right. When you all worked in cubicle alley. And if you are now come at the other side, if you are at a place where you are all still physically together, right? You're in medicine, you're in manufacturing, you're at a restaurant, whatever it is where you are, you don't have the option to work from home. Is gift giving now some sort of currency, right? Do I suck up through gift giving? And if I choose not to give a gift, am I now seen as less than in some way? I'm not as valuable as I once was, but Johnny gave his gift to the boss. I don't really like the boss, or I don't want to become personal with the boss in that way. I'm not mad at anybody. I have friends outside of work. I don't want to do that inside of work.
Yes.
So I choose not to engage that way. Does that come back to bite me in the rear end? Because I've seen that in workplaces for sure. I've certainly seen managers kind of operate that way with their team, like, oh, well, so-and-so, gave me $50 to X and you kind of gave me nothing. So now in the back of my mind, I treat you a little differently. I evaluate you a little differently and I'm biased differently.
Well, I think a lot of people just want their job, right?
Yeah.
Let's not spend it on frivolous things. I think the best gift you can give the people that you work with is just clarity.
Ooh, say that again. What does that mean?
The best gift is clarity. Where are we going next year? What is this going to look like? What should I expect? I don't like surprises. And there's so many things happening in the world that are just, we need to have peace.
Yeah.
Where we can. And I think that's the hard part too, where we can't tell, are things okay? Are you okay? Are we okay? And I think that's the part that causes so much anxiety. I get a lot of anxiety because I travel so much. And sometimes I'll be like, did I miss something? Am I a part of something? Is this, and I think people think it's fun. It's not fun. It's a disconnection. And I don't know if it makes the biggest impact. And so I stop. The biggest thing, somebody said, Jackye, you're on this list. And I was like, oh yeah, I know. They're like, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell us?
Yeah, why don't you say things? I'm the one bragging on your behalf. I'm posting on LinkedIn and stuff. I don't need to be doing it for you. I don't need to be doing this for you,
I don't know.
especially since I'm constantly left off. I love the one last week. I was like 51 again. Son of a gun. So close.
Oh, but I can't wait till next week because I have something special to share.
Really?
I do.
It's nothing inappropriate, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'll do something inappropriate then next week.
Okay. Yeah, if you can wear a costume.
Have you ever, when you were in a management role, not that you're not now, but like a
manager, frontline,
yeah. Did you have your team members ever give you holiday gifts? Was that a thing?
Yeah, we used to give holiday gifts, and it's funny.
But was it planned? Was it like Pollyanna kind of planned, or like Secret Santa kind of deal?
No,
or
I did get where everybody donated to give me a gift.
Okay.
It's happened, and it's actually happened now, like during other like family things or during surgeries. Gave me a gift. That was nice. Everybody's given like a little like something so you feel good. That was nice. But but it's like it's not required, and people feel weird. Not everybody celebrates Christmas.
Right. What do you do with that? I mean, do you just say it's the holiday season, and so this is what we do?
Well, one of the things that we do is that we have shared days off. I think that's another gift where it's don't just say take a day when you want to, because then it's like I'm going to call John on his day off because I have to ask him a question or I need him to sign this contract, and then they can't enjoy the day off. So what is one of the biggest gifts at Textio is we take a shared week off, and so nobody calls each other because everybody's off. The shared day off idea is so that everybody can actually enjoy the day off and nobody's expected to be at work. Is the best kind of gift, so that you take away the guilt.
Do you? So I have been a part on both sides of it, right? Like where I was the employee and kind of pooled together with other employees to get a director, manager, somebody, business owner, a gift. In your experience, when you've been on that side of things, did the person really appreciate what was given?
No.
Isn't that interesting? That's an unusual response. Like I've heard from, not that it's true for everybody, but I definitely have heard from people where it's like, it just seemed like they were like, oh, thank you all so much. And that was
right.
It. Like we gave them a gift card to go out to dinner. And it's like, well, I'm not going to be a part of that or see any of that or experience your happiness as a result of that. Like it's just sort of this thing that gets given.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like you can't, I don't.
You're not going to be there.
Well, it's like you can't give people what they want. I mean, it's not a Tesla.
Well, I mean, I had a manager once who in the beginning of December would share with us the latest restaurant that they were enjoying, so that the monies that we would pull together, we'd go get a gift certificate for that particular.
Yeah, that's nice.
Gift certificate, not card. Gift certificate. Back in the day, and for that restaurant. And so then when he opened it up, he was always like, oh, wow, this is great. I can't wait to use it for that. And part of me was like, well, cool. I'm glad you like that place. And so we got you something that you'll actually use. But the other part of me was like, I don't know, it's not really that special because you kind of basically told us the place that you want to get a certificate for. So,
I will tell you one thing that I like, and this sounds, I swear I'm not an alcoholic, but my favorite gifts has been tequila lately. Like I would never buy.
I'm not an alcoholic, but let me talk about the one alcohol that will get me hammered in 3.6 seconds. Come on.
But it's nice when people are like, "This is a nice tequila." Like I wouldn't know, but I'm like, "This is so good and delicious."
Listen, there are guys at 13th and Locust in Philly who will sell you a bottle of wine and tell you this is a good bottle of wine.
Speaking of which, listen, they lock everything up now in New York. You've heard of all the things that people. I was trying to get toothpaste. I was like, the people who work here, they have to hire extra people to go to everything to unlock the toothpaste.
The employees hate it. I want to tell you something. I have all kinds of feelings about this shoplifting crap.
It's horrible.
It's killing retail and distribution industry. It's killing them. And all you people out there that are listening that are shoplifters, knock it off. Find something else to do.
All you
Just
shoplifters,
stop.
stop
Because
it.
we're big. We're big with shoplifters.
Stop that.
Stop doing that. This smash and grab crap is ridiculous. And I talked about it last week. Like, you can't, and if you're an employee, you're not allowed even to do anything with shoplifters anymore. Like, there was a whole article this week about California. Everybody was like, if you're unable to afford all the gifts you need to, just buy a ticket to California, take everything you need from all the stores. They can't prosecute you.
Same in Seattle.
And take it home with you. All you're paying for is just the airfare and then maybe baggage if you have more than what they allow. That's what the article was sharing. And I'm like, something is wrong with humanity if this is where we are. Something is wrong with us.
That's what was so sad. Like, as we're going through New York, we wanted to share some of the surprise when we come into town for actual, but walking through like Macy's and walking past Macy's and seeing all of the stuff. And then what we went by the Lego store. We look at it and we're like, this is so cute. It's all holiday. Then we looked closer and I'm like, there's a riot. That's a riot. On one side of the building, they had police and little Legos with batons like this. They had people protesting on the other side. There was a naked man in this. I was like, who did this leg? Like, if you looked at it really close, it was showing like the realities. It was not as sweet as you thought, because you're like, oh, it's Legos. And a lot of people are dealing with that. And a lot of the places like don't have the stuff in the window anymore.
No.
Too afraid of doing it. And
that's so hard. Isn't it sad? It's so sad.
It's heartbreaking, because that's been one of the reason that we wanted to come to New York, and a lot of people like to, was all the storefronts. When you walk down,
I mean, Macy's window display on 7th. I mean, it used to be. Yes.
And it's like a lot of people have moved to doing big outside things. At Macy's, it's beautiful and wonderful, but a lot of it is electronic. And not the old artsy where they have all the festive
for the frame of reference for everybody else. If you've never been to New York, as an example, honestly, Philadelphia does the same thing, but
Philadelphia is beautiful too.
They used to have stanchions, right? So the velvet ropes all around the building, and you had to like come in at one side because everyone came to look at the window displays.
Yes.
So you weren't in the way of regular foot traffic walking up and down 7th Avenue in New York. You would go into these stanchions and make your way around the building and look at all the window displays. It's like it was special, and like you would see grandparents there with their grandkids, like looking at they're Ferris wheels and they're flipping around, and it was just this cool little thing.
Like Bergdorf is closed.
Yes.
Like a lot of the stores were closed. What was interesting is like Saks Fifth Avenue was sponsored by Cartier, Christian Dior. They were sponsored by another one to do the windows, because a lot of the places can't do the windows anymore. No. And it was beautiful, but it wasn't consistent. And you go by the old cathedral and it was beautiful. And,
visual merchandising is a dying art, just so everybody knows. And it ought not to be. I think there are people who are phenomenal at doing visual related work and, for retail and some other establishments. And the more that we take this stuff away from them and just sort of hang some flat screens, to your point, and just kind of show electronic stuff.
The nostalgia.
Yes.
And having those feelings. And a lot of people don't know, like, so I have a love of Macy's. It's a problem. I know people are like, it's just Macy's. Number one, we don't have a Macy's in Waco. It's important to know. We don't have a Macy's.
That's right.
So I go to all the Macy's. Anytime I go on vacation, I go to Macy's. So it's a problem. But the way that it started was because of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yes.
Is where I started my love for Macy's, and the theme Believe, of watching Miracle on 34th Street.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing. Macy's on 7th, like you're talking about, is always really special. And then going to the Empire State Building, because it's right there. And then the thing was, like, the Empire State Building on the top had the Israel flag on the top. And then it was just like this reminder, not that it isn't one of those things, but it's just, it was surreal to be I'm next to this Christmas ornament here, and then having that as a reminder in the backdrop, and it
Yes.
just tells you of the times that we're in,
We're
and
in rough
how things are
times.
different, and you have to remember everyone. And so I think that's what's difficult about now. Like, what is a gift? What would bring somebody joy, and what are we giving the gift for?
And I think that's where contribution matters a whole lot, right? So can you talked about like we have everything, especially as the kids get older, like we have everything, but really we still do, even with little kids. Um, or, can you do an experience where you're doing something to better the situation for your fellow human, or even contribute towards some of these initiatives that are trying to be supportive of people who are living in chaos at the moment, whether that's in the Gaza Strip or in Ukraine or some other areas in this world, of which there are a lot. Can you contribute towards those things and help to make a difference there, and let that be in the spirit of people? I as we talked about last week, my dad passed away. It'll be a month tomorrow, and he asked for remembrances of him to be donations to Shriners Hospital because in Philly, because of all that they did for Frankie. And that's a whole other story, right? That I'm happy to share sometime. But anyway, he asked about, and so to see people contribute to Shriners to help kids, because those hospitals, y'all, the Children's Hospital, St. Jude's, Shriners, they're going to be filled with kids for the
That's
holidays.
right.
Just so you all know, they're going to be filled with kids. Woo, I'm not going to get upset. They're going to be filled with kids this holiday season, and who don't know how hope is going to manifest itself because they're in for a long road. And so, like, even in memory of or in honor of, if you have a boss that you want to give a gift to, they really don't need another gift card to
Give
Olive
it on
Garden.
their behalf.
Give it on their behalf.
Donate on their behalf
On their
means
behalf.
so different.
Yes, yes,
I love
yes.
that Dion talked about our first Black Mrs.
I
Claus.
saw Shirley, my
First of
girl.
all, Shirley Route,
Love her forever. Loved her since
love
Dreamgirls. Y'all
her,
don't know. Since
love
Dreamgirls.
her.
Come
She
on.
is my dream girl. It's like
Love her.
I would fangirl. It's a mess. First of all, second of all, what's really
Yeah.
funny. So my mother, I went with my husband, my college best friend, to my mother's traditional holiday party that people kept continuing to have.
Love.
And so I didn't explain to him that it's a Black event. Like I just didn't think anything of it. The thing that was funny is he was like, oh my God, there's a Black Santa and a Black Mrs. Santa. And I was like, there's always been. I was like, by the way, like we pray to Black Jesus too. Like, I don't even know what y'all think.
Yes.
I don't know what y'all think.
Yes. Jesus' shading is probably darker than some people would like to believe. Come on now.
But
Come on.
we talk about representation matters. To me, Cheryl Lee Ralph still looked like a dream girl and not Mrs. Claus. It looked like a dream girl in a Santa suit.
She
Gorgeous.
is beautiful. Let's
Like,
just be
you
super clear.
just
Beautiful.
can't. She looked gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
seeing her as Mrs. Claus, I was so excited about that surprise ending.
If you need to understand, like, sing, act, just gorgeous person inside and out, look, y'all, go find that original videos of Shirley and Dreamgirls. Listen to the original soundtrack. Like, come on, so good.
And she was the first celebrity Mrs. Claus.
Yes. Yes. Listen, the one thing that I love too about this, and I'm glad Dion's saying it, I also want to talk about age for a second.
Yes.
Like, we've got Shirley of a certain age who's...
Oh, I was looking for the thing. I'm going to find it on Instagram so I can share the link. Sorry.
So, a person of a certain age being Mrs. Claus. We had Cher with the #1 song.
And what in the world? I was like, look at
Cher. #1 song, 70 some years old. We've got Dolly Parton with a top 10 album, 70 some years old. If y'all want to keep talking about, retirement, trying to get these old people out, they can't keep up with us.
Mm-mm.
That's not true. Look
Isn't.
Look at the ageism that you are, that you may be living, and look at what's really real. These people are still viable contributors, and we have to stop being so dumb about how we think about old people. Dumb. Because they ain't real. They're contributors. They're real people who can contribute. We're buying the albums. We're watching the television shows. Come on.
I don't think that is, people don't understand that it is so, representation matters so much. Like, I don't think, if you I put the link in the
good.
for
Thank you.
Cheryl Lee. So the other thing that was really important is that there are the 3 black Rockettes, but they're also wearing black tights. Something that people didn't even, it's something that nobody would even realize. All of us black people were like, they got a black Rockette in white girl tights. Like, they didn't make them. They didn't make them at all. They did not exist where you could get those. I was cracking up. Well, I won't talk. Well, I can't talk about it, but just know that someone said to me, they wanted a nude lip, and I had a makeup artist come do a nude lip on me with 3 different colors and a liner and and I was like, I am so happy that you didn't just pull out this like lipstick and say like, this is what nude is, to be able to shape those things, because it's like they, like, in these situations you're excited about being a part, but then they're like erasing you, and we're not doing that anymore.
We are not doing that anymore. Okay, so I think, by the way, I just shared as well. I think I shared the Spotify playlist. I don't know. Don't ask me these questions. I'm certainly somebody who can't handle all the things.
You want me to open it?
I mean, let's make sure that I share the right thing. I don't know. But I'm really good with HR tech, I swear. I do love the idea, though, that part of the gift that we can give this holiday season still is telling the story. Because when you, like, with what you just shared about tights, I know that can seem, minimal. Who cares about tights? There's a context to that we could lose if someone doesn't tell that story, right? Of this is why it matters so much. And I like, when I talk to my kids, or whoever I might be sharing with, about, like, for instance, some of the Italian traditions around the holiday season and why they are the way they are. And I remember my aunt, really, really being like big on stregonona, this Italian sort of folklore around Christmas Eve and that sort of stuff. Like, there is still something to that is rich for people to know. And that could be really, like, the easiest gift to give people, is to tell the story. Tell the story.
It is one of those things that, like, I didn't realize as a kid when I was the Patone bread during Christmas.
Oh yeah.
The Italian Christmas cake.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I always loved it, and I think my mom probably thought I was really strange. Like, and I would get the orange peel, and I would have it with a cup of tea. That's how I knew it was Christmas. Like, it was just Christmas time, and we always had. My parents were very big about sharing us Dominic the Christmas donkey.
I mean,
that's what Talia wants.
I don't want a Christmas without Dominic. Listen, let me tell you all, that panettone bread. Make French toast out of it.
Ooh. Have you ever had the chocolate kind?
I've had them all. And the chocolate's not real.
Have the chocolate kind, and it's delicious and wonderful. But there's a whole story behind it, like, and how, the story of the traditional cake. There are things that people share, and we shouldn't make people feel othered. It's like, we can share within these traditions. And we can share it's always a good thing to remember as you're sharing around food, right? We can bring together and we can come together around food.
As long as, I just want to qualify, as long as your diversity efforts are beyond just food.
Oh yeah.
You
Your
all heard
diversity
me say
efforts
the
have to
seventh
be.
grade social studies class. We're going to celebrate, Hispanic Heritage Month by making tacos. Ooh, y'all. Come on.
No.
That's got to be something a little bit more than that.
You right. But I'm gonna eat them though.
I will eat
But
them.
does not count as celebration. But the thing is, it's like one of the things that's so cool. Like somebody was like, "Oh, I don't know if I could ever live in New York," and I was like, "But it's the only place where you can get Cuban Chinese food in the world."
Right?
People are like, "What?" We're
Amazing.
like, "No,
Yes.
it's bringing these
It's
cultures
the
together,
fusion. Yes.
and we can start bringing these things together of sharing the stories behind some of the food gets us to some of the history that some people are so afraid of sharing. It's so important that we recognize each other and we can celebrate together. And right now, I think we need to bring some of that back.
Yes, we do. And I will say, thank you for having this gift discussion. We want to thank all of you for being gifts to us by joining us every week. We really this show means so much to us. And so
Yes.
we are grateful for all of you, our millions of fans.
What should we talk about next week? Look,
I really think we should do the Golden Girls and let's do like a holiday blowout before we take the time off the following week.
We can share stories of
all the things that Katie needs to improve upon in her life. These are the stories.
That's what we should discuss. The problem with Katie.
Yes.
How do you solve a problem like Maria and Katie?
If you put that title out and just don't say anything to her, just send her the link. We're dead meat. We are totally dead meat. It'll be awesome though. Where's your Starbucks?
I'm scared.
I love it. Until next week.
Click.
Love y'all. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye.
Clay is waving. Bye.